San Francisco. Scott, welcome to the program.
Hey, Mike. I can't speak, about the traveling in particular, but, I'm a San Francisco resident. And, I walked out of my house the other day to notice that all the parking meters have now been changed to 9 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock in the morning. There's no notices put out of this.
Don't you understand? Any twosome Newsom needs to raise hundreds of millions of dollars more to give to the illegal aliens and the bums. So the best way to do it is to make workers like you get up earlier and put it in his pocket so he can give it to the bums and the illegal aliens.
And then, you speak with the meter people. Well, they say, if you have a problem with park in the parking garages. But then the city doesn't also tell you that it owns 75% of the parking garages. So, they say...
Did you know that most downtown hotels charge about $40 a night for parking? Did you know that?
Oh, most definitely. I'm in the hospitality industry, and, I have a business here in the city. And outside of my business, from the hours of 7 to 9 in the morning and from 3 to 7, I can't even park. So I
hear you, but Scott, let me ask you something. How many car windows are broken open every morning by the wonderful residents of San Francisco who are given so many services by the mayor and the supervisors, the wonderful people of the streets who go around breaking windows and stealing car radios and things inside cars? Everywhere I walk, I see shattered glass.
I pay $6,000 a month for my apartment, and I had my car stolen twice in front of my $6,000 apartment building. So
that's terrible.
It doesn't matter what neighborhood, like you just said.
I want somebody, I hear you, Scott, and I want somebody from San Francisco to call this show and tell me, someone in the hotel business, I want you to lay out for the people how many different taxes have been put onto hotels by the anti-business, far-left liberal regime of Gavin Newsom. How many taxes are there on a hotel room in San Francisco? Okay? Chicago, Tim, you're up on the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Dr. Savage. Went on to your beautiful city of San Francisco for my honeymoon several years ago. Would hesitate to go back. I thought the homeless were just terribly aggressive over there. Paraded you if you dealt them.
That's right. That's right. They insult your wife. They insult you. The cops do nothing because they've been told that these are the sacred cows of the city with more rights than the taxpayer. And who did it? The supervisors, the communist supervisors of the city. Thank you for the call. I'm going to let it all hang out right now. The people who are calling this show from around America have money and they travel. Have money, will travel. And many of them love this city, but they won't come back until there's a change of regime in this city. Until the Al-Qaeda members inside City Hall are driven out. They're the Al-Qaeda against business. They hate capitalism and they hate business. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? But there's more to it than that. And let me explain it to you. There's no art in this city. Now you say, why, that can't be. They pride themselves on their arts and entertainment. Can you name anything in this city that is worthy of an international recognition? Name one arts performance in this city that's on the level of an international arts performance, and you won't find it. It is a it is a very provincial city, very much as it has always been, very charming. It's why I moved here. The weather is the best in the country. The fog rolling in over the hills is astonishing. But the radical left-wing Al-Qaeda members who have taken over City Hall have long hated business, have long hated tourists, have long hated real progress, and have taken the side of the bums and the illegal alien drug dealers. And that is why tourism is dying. Sure, the economy has something to do with it, but not everything to do with it. Other than looking at the fog and getting drunk in a restaurant, there's little to do here. It is an unchild-friendly city. There is nothing for children to do here. Nothing whatsoever. It's a city that hates children, and that's another reason people are not coming here. In fact, the supervisors, most of whom are not married, hate families. They sneer at you. They call you breeders. That's why you're not coming here. I'll be right back.
Savage.
See, I could have told you what Obama would do because I've lived in the most radical left-wing city in America. In fact, it's far to the left of France or Germany even. And I've seen one incompetent boob after another take office. I've seen one incompetent supervisor. These are anti-business people who have never run a business. These are anti-tourist people who sneer at you when you come to the city. They tax hotel rooms thinking there's no limit to how many taxes they can put on you, and they kill the goose that lays the golden egg. Now they're worried that the tourist base is dying, the income is dying, and they're trying to say, well, it's due to the national economy. Certainly that is part of the problem, Anyone who denies that would be a fool. But anyone who says that the reason the hotel business is down and the tourist business is down in San Francisco only because of the national recession would be a fool as well. The fact of the matter is there are tourist horror stories that I'm going to open up here on the Savage Nation. If you have a tourist or tourism horror story, I'd like you to call my show so that perhaps these dumbbells who run the city will come to understand that they've killed the golden goose. And maybe the people, the morons of this city, who think that they're oh so tolerant and they want nothing but tolerant individuals running things, will come to understand that they need hard-nosed business people to save this city. Okay? Let's go down to the callers. Let's start in San Francisco itself. Marilyn on KNEW, go ahead, please.
Oh, well, hi. I guess you must know that I'm one of the 30% that's on board with you. I'm with you. I see boondoggle after boondoggle. My poor mother and I are both on disability, and so is my husband, and it's getting more and more exceedingly expensive for all of us mere mortals to live in the city, but we're out in the outer sunset. And just recently, my mother had to spend hard-to-come-by food money so we could build a fence around our garbage because the garbage Gestapo felt, we need to make the city more beautiful for the tourists who come out there.
What do you mean, the garbage Gestapo looks in your cans?
Well,
you mean they made you cover your garbage out in the outer sunset, but tourists don't go there?
I know. Well, we're 3 blocks from the zoo, but still, we had to spend $100 and something to build the fence.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The useless employees of the environmental area came out and said your garbage is exposed, cover it with a fence.
Right, exactly. Otherwise, we could get...
And now, how much do you think that employee cost the city? How much a year in benefits and salary and pension funds did that incompetent, moronic college graduate cost the taxpayers?
Exactly.
All right. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Look, I go out to the areas outside the heartland of the city. See, I'm very fortunate in that I have a couple of different places I stay, and one of which is in the city of San Francisco, and I've been there for years and years and years. I've always had a place in the city. I've also always had a place outside of the city. And I move back and forth at will and at whim, so no one knows where I'm going to be when, because I don't know where I'm going to be when. But the point I'm making is I'm very familiar with the streets, probably more so than the politicians, certainly more so than the supervisors, because I actually walk the streets of the city. They are dirtier than they have ever been. I'd like to know where the street cleaners are. I'd like to know where the street sweepers are. I'd like to know why there is so much garbage in the streets. You know, I love Fisherman's Wharf. I told you that. I want to know why the city does not take one of its prime tourist attractions and put it on the top of the list to clean. Why don't they send street sweepers down there? Why don't they force the homeless, give them a broom and a garbage can and tell them the next time you want a check, come here with a can full of garbage and we'll give you a portion of your check. Every time you bring us a can full of garbage, one of these bright college graduates who Mayor Newsom hired will give you $10. Otherwise, we're not going to give you any more welfare so you could snort it up your nose. How about paying them per can of garbage? Would that make sense to you? No, doesn't make sense? You mean you owe them the money? You owe them the money, huh? Sacramento, Roxanne, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Michael, I was born and raised in San Francisco, and that was my city, and I explored like you wouldn't believe as a child. And my father, who's 90 years old, did the same thing in San Francisco. And I would like it if call me old-fashioned, but I would think it would be a nice thing if they could clean the excrement off the streets in Union Square.
Oh, my God. You mean the bums are defecating in the streets?
Yeah, they are. And it's pretty bad.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. So you're one of the actual conservative voters who left the city because of the radical liberals who are running the town?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know there's at least 30% of the city that would like a business person, man or woman, of any race, to take over this city from this incompetent left-wing boob who cannot run anything, let alone a city. Now you go to the supervisors, they make him look like a genius. They're anti-military, they're anti-tourism, they're anti-hotel, they're anti-family, and they expect tourists to keep taking it? And that's what's happening here. They're blaming it on the national economy. That's absurd. Tyler, Texas. Tommy, you've been here. What did you see when you're in San Francisco?
Dr. Savage, I've got one bad thing and two good things about San Francisco. I visited my first and only time about 3.5 years ago. Bad thing is walking out of a restaurant with a doggy bag, take about 5 steps, and there's a 19-year-old kid begging me for my food. I told him to get a job, and I thought that he was going to fight me. And I was actually scared for a little bit.
Well, you should be, because I learned a long time ago that if you ever got into an altercation with one of the street vermin, even if they spit at you, you would be arrested for assault. They're looking for that. Don't go near them. Don't react. Let me tell you something about street smarts with vermin across America. If they look at you, look away. If they insult your wife, go the other way. Do not engage them. They are the equivalent of the person who is looking for you to tail end your car, because there are legions of unemployed lawyers in the city looking to make a living strictly by having a tourist stand up for their dignity. And that's one of the reasons tourists are staying away, is because the bums are very hostile. The bums are out of control. The bums are dangerous. The bums are using the city like a toilet bowl, in my opinion.